Andrew Wiggins, a consensus 5-star recruit who could leap out of the gym, and the best thing the basketball world has produced out of Canada since Steve Nash, his rise to stardom seemed inevitable. With nicknames like Maple Jordan and Air Canada, Wiggins was a one-of-one talent who could change the trajectory of a franchise. But what happens when a once generational prospect proves that he was never meant to be a star of a team? This is how Andrew Wiggins saved himself from basketball humiliation and became a key piece of a championship team. After his freshman season at Kansas, Andrew Wiggins was selected with the first overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers. After an up-and-down performance at the 2014 Summer League, Wiggins was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Kevin Love. Wiggins' rookie year went as many predicted, solidifying himself as one of the best young players in the NBA. He averaged a shade under 17 points and appeared in all 82 games en route to becoming the 2015 Rookie of the Year. But just a few months later, in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Minnesota Timberwolves selected Karl Anthony Towns with the first overall pick, which changed the trajectory of what Wiggins' star path would look like. As the years progressed, it was clear that Wiggins wouldn't be the number one guy, with Cat stepping into his shoes. Peaking at 23.6 points per game and 35% from three in his third year, Wiggins' numbers declined every year in the season to follow. Thought of what Wiggins could have become all the way back in 2014 seemed like a long shot now, with many questioning his work ethic, desire to get better, and if he even possessed the skills to become a star. But in 2020, just 1 month before the NBA shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a move was made that would change the trajectory of the Warriors and Wiggins' career forever. The Golden State Warriors decided to send newly acquired guard D'Angelo Russell to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Wiggins. While D'Lo was the main focal point of the trade, the Warriors were finally getting a wing they could pair with the Splash Bros backcourt and potentially replace Kevin Durant while they looked for more success. We only saw Wiggins appear in 12 games for the Warriors that season, but he scored 20-plus points in 7 of those games, sparking interest among Warriors fans for what he could be. The 2021 season for the Warriors was lost. The team was plagued by injuries, and it was evident they weren't going to do much, as Steph Curry averaged an incredible 32 points per game on some of the best efficiency of his career. But the following season was different. Not only was Steph healthy again, and Klay Thompson was set to come back from injury, this was the first season of Andrew Wiggins' career where he could finally breathe without the expectations and spotlights of being the number one overall pick. Forget everything you knew about Andrew Wiggins prior to this season. As soon as he landed in the Bay, Wiggins flipped a switch and turned himself into one of the most versatile players in the entire association. During his 6 years in Minnesota, Wiggins was a 33% three-point shooter, peaking at 35% in his third season. However, as soon as he started playing alongside Stephen Curry and being mentored by some of the greatest shooters the world has ever seen, Wiggins blossomed into a 38% shooter in 2021, exploding to 39% in 2022. Wiggins was exactly where he was meant to be. He wasn't supposed to be the number one star, nor was he supposed to take the most shots, but could shoot at a high clip, put in incredible defensive minutes, and play hustle basketball, something that is key to winning at a high level. It was something we hadn't seen out of Wiggins in over half a decade. He was finally playing like he loved the game of basketball again. Wiggins began the season on an absolute tear. In 9 games from November 10th to November 26th that saw the Warriors go on an 8-1 run, Wiggins averaged 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, just under 2 blocks and steals, and shot an incredible 42% from three-point range. This is the kind of play everyone knew Wiggins was capable of, but hadn't seen it in a very, very long time. But what made Wiggins become such an impactful player wasn't just his shooting or his scoring, it was the fact that he was becoming an integral part of the Warriors' defense. Paired alongside with former Defensive Player of the Year Draymond Green, Wiggins finally showcased his athleticism on the defensive end, becoming a player with fast feet, agile movements, and quick to shut down some of the league's best players. With Wiggins off the floor, not only did the Warriors' defense and offense get worse, but the opponents were able to score more points, shoot at a higher clip, and get better looks on offense. As the Warriors were rising to become one of the best teams in the NBA again, something more wholesome was brewing and evident of Wiggins' hard work.
Congratulations to Andrew Wiggins, the first-time All-Star.
And not to mention the job he does defensively.
I think the one thing, when they traded for him, and I think we all, some people laughed when I said
in the D'Angelo Russell deal.
Right, I said going there, he could be an all-star. And a lot of people didn't see it, but I did only because the role would change as the primary scorer. I thought he would be great and an all-star in a secondary role. And that...
It was official. Andrew Wiggins was finally an NBA All-Star in the upper echelon of the stars in the world. Wiggins was finally returning to All-Star Weekend, but not as a rookie or not as a sophomore, but as one of the top 24 players in the entire world. But now it was time for the real work to begin. The Golden State Warriors were back in the playoffs, and they only had one thing in mind. In the first round, the Warriors made quick work of a Jamal Murray-less Denver Nuggets team, beating them in 5. Wiggins' shot struggled and looked far from what we saw during the entire regular season, still a contributor with his high motor and defense. In the series clinching Game 6, Wiggins put up one of the best performances of his young playoff career, scoring 18 points combined with 11 rebounds, 6 of which were offensive, shot 3 for 5 from 3 combined with 3 blocks and 1 steal. The Warriors plowed through the Grizzlies, winning 110-96 to set up a date with Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Just like the series prior, Wiggins' shot was shaky, and so was his offensive performances, but now was a chance for him to harp on everything that's got him to this opportunity: defense, high motor, athleticism. Wiggins was a menace on the defensive end, and the Mavericks had no answer for him in the paint, as Wiggins put up one of the best posters you'll ever see. The Mavericks proved no competition for the Warriors as they were defeated in 5 games to send the Warriors back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 3 years. Home at last, the Warriors were finally back in the NBA Finals, but this time with a new sidekick in the name of Andrew Wiggins. While the Warriors took a quick 1-0 deficit in the finals, Wiggins wasn't shy of the NBA Finals or the moment that it presented, scoring 20 points with 5 rebounds and 3 blocks in Game 1. But maybe the bright lights were a little too much. While the Warriors manhandled the Celtics in Game 2 to tie up the series, Wiggins put up an abysmal 11 points on just 4 for 12 shooting. And to make matters worse, while Wiggins did have a solid Game 3, putting up 2 blocks, 2 steals, 18 points, and 7 rebounds, he did shoot 1 for 6 from 3 as the Warriors fell in a tight Game 3 to fall 2-1 in the series. If you followed this series back when it happened, you'll remember the infamous quote of Steph Curry telling the Celtics bench that Game 3 was their last win. A bold statement, trailing 2-1 in a final series, with the next game being on the road, but nothing short of anything that Steph Curry and the Warriors couldn't accomplish. And to no one's surprise, Steph Curry was exactly right. Not only did Curry put up an insane 43 points, Wiggins followed with 17 points, 16 rebounds, while Klay Thompson scored 18 points as well. With the series tied heading back to the Bay, and Curry, Thompson, and Wiggins finding their groove, another Warriors ring only seemed inevitable. The Warriors won Game 5 as well, and the leading scorer of that game was none other than Andrew Wiggins. Combined with 13 rebounds, Andrew Wiggins led the team in scoring with 26 points, while Jaylen Brown was held to just 5 for 18 shooting and 5 turnovers. It didn't seem improbable at the time, but years before this moment, many were questioning and doubting if Wiggins ever had the ability to perform in a meaningful way. June 16th, 2022, the Warriors were heading into Boston with a chance to clinch the NBA title. The biggest game of Andrew Wiggins' career, a chance for him to prove he's a meaningful impact player. Right from the tip, it was clear that Wiggins was ready to lead Boston as an NBA champion. He was an impact player to begin the game on both sides of the floor, putting up 10 points, 3 steals, and a block within the first half. The Warriors led at halftime and never looked back, and neither did Wiggins, putting up one of the most all-around games he's ever played. 18 points, 4 steals, 3 blocks, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 3-pointers made. Andrew Wiggins was about to become an NBA champion. More importantly, this moment was about the support system and supporting cast Andrew Wiggins had around him. He was no longer tasked with the high expectations of being a number 1 pick and was able to play basketball at the freest level possible. One of the most wholesome moments of the season was Wiggins checking out of the game with the Warriors' win all but clinched. Replacing Andrew Wiggins was Andre Iguodala, one of the key mentors and veterans for the Warriors team. The two quickly embraced each other, with this being evidence of the bond the Warriors and Wiggins had built. He wasn't a black hole on offense. He wasn't a bust. He wasn't a player who failed to live up to expectations. He was an NBA champion, an all-star, and forever a Warriors legend. What Wiggins did is nothing short of remarkable, moving into a new system and a new team, and completely re-identifying himself as a shooter, a defender, and an impact player. Wiggins was no longer a bust, no longer a player who couldn't fulfill expectations. He was an NBA champion, a key piece on a championship team. So this is what happens when a borderline bust completely turns around his career and impacts the game in the right way. As always, it's been a pleasure spending the last few minutes with you, and thank you for tuning in to another Box in One installment. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, and let us know your thoughts on Andrew Wiggins in the comments. Until next time, this is Box in One, signing off.